Hey guys, Brian with VetteSource here, coming back in on a Saturday morning. Still with some definitely summer-like weather for the rest of our weekend into September. So we'll see if we get some breeze here in the next couple weeks. Got a little bit of breeze today, but nothing's going to keep me from sweating. So today I'm going to swing back around, keep working on our 91 Corvette salvage parts car that we detailed for you last month that I started tearing down. That link to that video is up there at the top of the screen. As you can see, we've got the rear bumper off the car. We've got the front clip off the car. Front bumper assembly was removed in another video. I've got a link there to that one. The hood was sold recently along with the headlight assemblies. So what I'm going to be doing today is removing the fuel system from this car, kind of like the way I did the fuel system on the C5 parts car that I had. That is what's left of it is sitting right here on the front of the trailer. And of course that video is also up at the top of the screen there if you didn't see that one for the fuel system on the C5. Today I'm going to take this one out. This looks overly complicated looking at it, but it's ridiculously simple to remove. The bolts are not really hard to get access to. A couple of tricky ones that you're going to have to get to, but it's really not as strenuous of a job as some of the other things on the car. So you can see this whole assembly is put together here to hold this gas tank in, and what it does, it's got these extension. This actual one piece is called the impact bar. This is made out of aluminum, not steel, and then the gas tank sits up in this cradle right here and is secured in place. So what we're going to have to do first is I've got to go ahead and get this spare tire carrier out from underneath it, which will take me all of about 10 seconds. And those bolts out there, which will drop this whole assembly. And the method for my madness here is actually I need to get to, see if I can show you guys, that brake line. I have a customer that wants that hard line, which you can't find anywhere else. And to get to it, I need to take everything out of the way. So what I'm going to do is get started here. I've actually got my tools already, so I may just show you my opening steps. So first things first, like I said, this has got to come out of the way. And to get this out of the way, this bolt here, if you've never pulled the spare tire down in your Corvette, this is a 19mm. It's the same size as a jack tool. So what you're going to want to do is you loosen this, and it loosens from the captive cage that is right here. And you see how that's put in place so it won't move. And then that actually lowers the front of the spare tire carrier so you can get to it. So first things first, I've got to get to these bolts that are back here. These are the hangers right back here. I'm going to take those two out on each side, and you can see this was just a hook that I put in there, and that comes right out. So let me see if I can get to these real quick while you're watching before I have to turn my camera off. Let's see, yeah, I'll be able to get to these probably. I thought I was, at least the inboard side. Let's see, so get this one off. And then we'll get the outboard side off on this one here. That one's out. And we'll lower this down so we can get to it. There we go. That one's out. And let's take this side down. If I can get this to cooperate for me one-handed. Of course not. Let's see if I can get enough of an angle in here to get this real quick, guys. Bear with me. There we go. Okay, so with 4 bolts, you can see the spare tire carrier comes out that easy. Now this gives us the opportunity to take a look that wonderful C4 Corvette suspension. This is the one that hot rodders still to this day chase after, because it's just a really cool setup. You can see the bat wing is what they call that there. That's one whole piece of that rear cover that goes from side to side. Your tie rod assembly is right there, along with your transverse leaf spring, and then your camber adjustment rods that go out to your spindles, your rear spindles, and then of course there's your half shafts in there. So it's a pretty cool setup, and I'll probably detail removing that in one of my next videos here. So let me go ahead and get this thing out of the way and get the correct bolts to remove. Oh, one thing I will show you before I go, because I hate doing all these cut scenes I have to do for these videos. 4 bolts that have to come out for the gas tank. You can look here, sees this nylon steel cable. That's actually an extra piece of security on the fuel tank to keep it from going anywhere. So you've got these 13 millimeters that are tied in with the sway bar end links, and those have to come out, because if you don't take those out, you'll try to take the thing off and they won't come out of there. So I'm going to get those out too. So we got 2 bolts there, and I'll show you again just to recap. So I pick my old stuff up off the ground. And then we've got these bolts here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 on either side. So 8, 10, 12 bolts total. Interestingly enough, the evaporative system for the Corvette, later ones, I think they started that in 91, 92 maybe, is back here in the corner. I think I was with, no, it had to be 90 or 91, because this is still an L98 car. So it's all the way back in this corner. So if you're looking for an evap system problem, don't go looking in the front, you won't find it. The tank's back here. So give me a few seconds to get my correct tools, and I'll be back. Okay, back in here again. You can see I've got these bolts loosened right here that actually hold these, what can only be described as safety straps, to keep the fuel tank from becoming dislodged in a heavy rear end collision. Looking at them, you can see it's a pretty heavy duty steel reinforced with plastic cable. So those are put around the perimeter of the gas tank, around the outside of it, to keep it from going anywhere. So like I said, if you forget about those, or you're trying to take the thing out of there, it's going to be hanging down there, and you'll have a little more trouble getting them out. So always make sure you get these out first. And then that one's out. So those are loose. We'll take our hardware and save that, because that's what we do. And up here, one thing I failed to mention was we need to go ahead and break our gas lines free. This would be your return line from your, oh wait a minute, yeah, this would be your return line right here for your excess fuel that does not get used on the first trip out. And this is your main feed line, the larger line. And then that line over there is a vapor line coming back in for fuel vapors and back into the tank again. So once we get those out of there, everything's pretty much disconnected, and then we can go ahead and drop the whole assembly out of here, which I'll show you guys in just a second. So let's see if these lines will cooperate with me. Pull these off of here. Yeah, I doubt there's some fresh fuel in there. Oh, that's nice fuel. I'll have to save that for the lawnmowers. And there's that one. This is your main connection for your fuel regulator. That regulator assembly might still be good. I thought maybe it wasn't, but it's good. Okay. All right, so that's disconnected from there. And what we're going to do here in a second is grab our, make sure I got the right tool for this. Yes, so we got our 15 millimeters. So let me get set up real quick for this one, and I'll show you guys how those bolts come out, and then this whole thing will drop out. I'll be right back. Okay, back here we have a clear look at our 4 bolts that hold our aluminum impact bar assembly onto our frame rail. So we're just going to take those straight out. one's probably out. There we go. Okay. Walk around to this other side. See if we can get access to our bolts here. Let's see, going from this side. And you saw how that fell, just like that, when I pulled that down. So that one's still kind of stuck in there because there's weight on the assembly. So I may have to put my jack underneath here. Give me a second to get my jack in position. I'll show you guys how this works. Hang on. Okay, so we got our bolt set on the other side, so we've got everything loose. So I did is put my jack underneath there so it wouldn't fall completely on us. So, and of course, as soon as I get on camera, it makes me a liar. Hang on, let's see if I can get the pressure off of this one. There we go. All right, so all 4 bolts are out. And ideally, I'd have the exhaust pulled out of this already, but we're gonna drop since this car is never gonna go back together again. Let's see what we can get done here. And you can see the whole impact bar with the fuel tank and spilling a little bit of gas on me coming out of the way. So it's actually resting against the rear mufflers. So once we pull back here, it should come out. There we go. So you can see it's disconnected from that rear frame rail, and I've got a few more little lines I've got to disconnect. So I'm gonna have to do those off camera real quick, but I'll be right back with you guys to show you the finished product, what it looks like when it's off. I'll be right back. All right, we're back with our impact bar removed. Unfortunately, I had to get that kind of off camera because I couldn't get enough leverage in there to get that with one hand. So you can see here, this is what the assembly will look like, or what the back end of the car will look like without the impact bar in it. And like I was detailing earlier, this is all pretty much a modular assembly. Impact bar, energy absorber, evaporative canister, fuel tank, and Corvette sending unit right there on top where you can actually get to it without taking all this apart. There are those 2 extra straps that I'd refer to. And then here are your 2 primary straps that tie this fuel tank into the impact bar. So I'll be removing those in a little while to get the fuel tank out. So you can see here, this is our inner body structure. Oh, here's an interesting aside for you, for the guys that like this kind of stuff. Let's see if I can get to it. There's the build sheet for the car right there. So when I clean that off, I can actually see where this car came from and how it was originally equipped. So, kind of cool stuff. Here's your inner structure, your Corvette. Like I said, everything's fiberglass in here. Fuel lines, you can see your sway bar. So I'm gonna get after this and probably real quick take that brake line out that I need to get out of there. And I'll be back with you guys in a minute to show you the last of the tear down of the impact bar. Hold tight. Okay guys, I'm here to finish the final part of our teardown of our rear impact bar and gas tank, fuel tank assembly. What I've done here is removed it in an area so I can go ahead and pull it apart. So what you're gonna see me do right now is I've got to flip that over here, and I'm gonna be getting my 2 primary bolts that hold those gas tank straps on. There's one there, it's a 15, and then there's another one there, that's just about a T40. So I'm gonna get set up here in just a second. That way I can get to these and get these off of here. And then we'll have the gas tank free, and I'll go ahead and take the sending unit out for you guys too, so you can see what that's all about. Then we'll see if we can examine that tank sticker a little bit more closely once we're in here. So hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, we're set up here. One thing I do want to point out when you're taking these straps off of here is that you kind of want to be careful when you're pulling these out of here, because I have a habit of wanting to actually twist on you, and you don't want that to happen.
because that can kind of make a mess of things. So we got that one out there. And what we'll work on this one here. Let's see if I can get on there correctly. Stand by for a second. Sometimes this bolt requires really a longer one over there, and this one may not cooperate with me. I may end up having to get this off camera, and I just realized I've lost camera anyway. So what I'll do real quick is I'll show you guys removing the lower torque strap here, so you can see that bolt come out of here. And then that one's out, and then we got this one strap off completely here, and this just slides to the side, and that strap is off. And there's your gas tank strap. So I'm gonna work on this other upper bolt here real quick, and I'll be right back with you guys. But you know what I'll do first before I do that? So I'll go ahead and take this one out of here. Oop. Looks like I need 2 hands, so I'll be right back, guys. Oh, no, there it goes. And it falls over on me. So this is the part of working on cars. It's always fun. All right. Okay, hang tight while I finish this last bolt, and I'll show you guys this assembly is disassembled. Okay, we've got the gas tank loose from there. Sorry, I had to go off camera to get that accomplished. But looking now, you can see we can pull that impact bar assembly away from there. We still got this kind of hooked up here to it. What I'll try to do, I don't have my pliers, so I'll get that here in a little bit. But what I'll show you real quick here is obviously this fuel sending unit was not in good shape in the beginning, but I'm gonna go ahead and take this out so you can kind of see what the sending units look like here. This is actually a very clean sending unit in here, looks like. Gas tank's no good because it's got a hole in it, but of course I'm gonna have to take that tube off of there. Let's see if I can get that off without taking that out of there, because I forgot to bring my pliers out here, guys. Okay, give me 1 second to cut this line. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and just cut this hose right here, because this is not anything I'm gonna be reusing again. And there it is. Wow, that's actually a very nice looking sending unit assembly. Looks like somebody might have replaced that at one point. Yeah, it looks like it. And the other side's a little grody. But this is the entire fuel system as far as removing fuel to the front of the Corvettes there. And again, it's pretty easy to get to. So you can see that's the way that works. There's your float device right there. There's the pump assembly itself with the sock to keep it from getting too many contaminants in the system. And it goes into your main feed pipe there, up through there, and out to your fuel lines to your engine bay. So that's pretty much all there is to it. So there's the end of our tear down of our fuel bar, or fuel impact bar, fuel tank assembly. And I was able to see the other day, this isn't very clear, this car was ordered by Chevrolet Central Production Office in Warren, Michigan, Van Dyke Avenue. I've seen a few of these cars come out like this. I don't know if you can actually see that there, but what that means is this was ordered by GM as either an executive or higher level person in the organization car, and they used it for a while in their fleet and then got rid of it again. But again, you can look at some of the notations on that and see what's there. So it's just kind of a cool thing. I may or may not try to get that off of there, because you know the car is not like it's ever going to be back on the road again. But just an interesting piece of historical perspective on the 28-year-old car. So I think that's going to close me out for today, guys. It's nice and humid today, so I'm just going to finish this up, get it done. But I appreciate you watching all the way to the end, and I do appreciate the comments and the subscriptions I've gotten out of it and the likes. So thanks for doing that, definitely. I do enjoy showing you guys some of the teardown work I do on these cars for parts for other people that need them for their cars that they're putting back together. So until next time, I'll check you out then, guys. Thanks.